Now, that rally over the past 2 years marks a stunning reversal from the crypto winter, where doubts were high when the exchange FTX collapsed. Its fortunes started to change earlier in the year when the SEC approved several ETFs that Paul was just talking about there. And the election of Donald Trump has supercharged it. Kristin Smith is with me, the CEO of the Blockchain Association. What do you think the proper role for Bitcoin is?
Well, I think that's really up to the individuals and organizations that own Bitcoin. But what we're seeing today, as we were just hearing Powell had commented on earlier this week, is a lot of people are looking at Bitcoin today as a digital gold. It's a way to store value. It's a scarce resource. So as more people want to have a part of it in their portfolio, the value of the asset increases over time. And so that seems to be where we see it today. But we were just talking about it's really a new time for Bitcoin and other crypto assets. It's the first time we've had a proactively positive pro-Bitcoin, pro-crypto president in the White House in the U.S. And we also have the most pro-crypto Congress we've ever seen. And so I really think we're going to see a tremendous amount of innovation around Bitcoin and around other cryptocurrencies in the years ahead as people feel freedom to innovate and as we start putting the rules of the road in place so that everyone knows how this is going to be regulated in the long run.
Give me an idea of what that looks like. What would you wish to be able to do regulatory-wise that you can't do now?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing we'd like is to have an open dialogue with the potentially relevant regulators for crypto and Bitcoin. The problem we've had with SEC Chair Gary Gensler is that he hasn't been having that dialogue with the industry and instead is going out and doing regulation by enforcement lawsuits to try to guide company behavior in that way. And it's been very, very stifling. So what we would like to see is a place where exchanges can go and register and have appropriate oversight. We want to have more pathways for new projects to launch and to issue new tokens and do so in a way where all the disclosures are there. And so I think this is the type of thing that we can do some of this with the SEC's existing authority, but we'll probably need Congress to step in and fill the gaps because the reality is the federal agencies in the U.S. just don't have the full authority that they need today to do the job right.
There is a difference, though, between in previous times, and this is the international nature of it, the fungibility, if you will, of crypto to be used and therefore manipulated across jurisdictions and more difficult to track, trace and to manage. And the size of it, and you know this better than anybody else, the size now of crypto and Bitcoin does lead worries of systemic risk. Never mind widows and orphans. I'm talking about widespread systemic risk.
Well, I don't think there's systemic risk with something like Bitcoin or most sort of everyday cryptocurrencies. And the reason is because individuals have the ability to hold those tokens themselves and they don't have to worry about relying on a third-party institution to manage it on their behalf. I do think there is a question about how to properly regulate stable coins that are pegged to the US dollar because you have to have the right kinds of treasuries and dollars sitting in bank accounts, and you want to make sure that those type of products are fully reserved. And so this is why we need to have these discussions, and we are having these discussions with Congress. But I think for the first time, when the new administration takes power and the new Congress is sworn in next year, we'll really have the opportunity to get those rules right and make sure that users are protected, but also that we bring developers back to the U.S. that have been scared away. I feel like the rest of the world has greatly taken advantage of the fact that the U.S. has been so hostile. And so, we want the innovation to occur everywhere around the globe, but we really also want it here in the United States.
Kristin, I'm very grateful for you. Can you believe Paul and Monica and I, 7 years ago, bought a bit of a Bitcoin and we lost the key? We have no idea.
Well, that is why self-custody works for some people, but not for everyone. So we want to have other alternatives for those who do want some help, who do want an institution in between. And so it's good to have choice.
Absolutely. Don't trust me with a pint of milk. Never mind a Bitcoin. I'm grateful to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us from Miami. Thank you.